What is up, my dudes? So today is another day where we are doing some work on another DA. I gotta go to the parts store real quick, so I'm gonna drop off these sticker orders while I'm at it. But we got this red DA right here to get some working on. So a subscriber dropped it off last night. Pretty neat little car. It's pretty much mostly original. Interior super mint. It's just got a normal B20 in here, nothing crazy. Just some clean little wheels, and that's pretty much it. But he brought it to me with some overheating issues right off the bat. I found a few things, and then he explained to me what's going on with the car, like what he knows is done to it, like a toggle switch for the fan and stuff, because the fan wasn't working. So we'll go through that, and I'm also going to be doing some coil-on sleeves for him, again like I did with Eric's car. This guy's are already installed. It looks like they're pre-installed on some stock struts, but he doesn't want the car super low because he has to take it to emissions. So yeah, we'll slap those on, see how it sits, maybe adjust the ride height a little bit. But other than that, we're gonna just be changing out the transmission fluid, trying to fix this fan if we can't, because I know the fan works, it's on the toggle and the fan physically works, I tested it, but it's missing the plug on the thermostat housing for the switch or whatever, so we gotta try and find that. But other than that, pretty simple day. I forget this post office is a lot taller. Just got back, got our fluids, got our thermostat, some hose so we can install the catch can, some oil to top it off because he is down a quart, and I'm pretty sure he's burning it because when you start it up you get a good puff of smoke coming out the back, and it definitely reeks of oil. The guy said he got the motor from a buddy who said he bought it from HMO or something, but I don't see a stamping on the block, so I'm not pretty sure that this is a HMO motor. Hopefully I can find his wheel lock key because I don't have a wheel lock key for those, but we're gonna get this thing jacked up. If he has the lock, I'm gonna get the wheels popped off, and then we're just gonna start on the engine side of this right away, because then later on while I'm bleeding the cooling system I can start with taking the struts out because it's pretty quick, and then should be a pretty simple day. The wheel's all off, so I'm going to come in here now. I'm going to start with pulling this hose that goes to the thermostat. And it's kind of hard for you guys to tell because the camera lens. But this plug that's right here, this brown one, right in front of my finger, there's supposed to be a green or I think a gray 2-prong plug on there. And I'm not seeing it in here, so I'm going to dig around through the harness a little bit, see if I can't find it. Because that's what is supposed to control your fan. And his fan is just ran by this wire, which then goes into the cab to a toggle switch. So I'm going to try and get that sorted out. Ran into a little bit of an issue with the catch can plumbing though, because the catch can is supposed to plumb from PCV to catch can to intake tube, but I can't weld on this intake tube because this is plastic. So that ain't gonna work unless I JB welded something, which I could do, but I don't want to do because I don't trust it. But we will figure that out. Yeah, let's just get started. Fast idle valve is off. I'm gonna just unscrew these really quick and we'll pop it open. The guy said he's been having intermittent idle issues, like surging idle and stuff, and on a lot of these Hondas, the main cause for that, at least on the older Hondas like OBD1 and OBD0, is these fast idle thermal valves, not so much the idler control valves, because these things have this little plunger in here, and you got to clean it out, and then you got to screw it all back down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just unscrew it, spray it all down with brake cleaner, and put it back in. So, clean the housing out, but then this gets just gummed up. I don't know where you can see it with the light, but it's got a bunch of black crap in there. I don't know what it is, dirt, soot, something. So we just take this apart, we clean it, and reassemble it and screw the plunger all the way down. Okay, we got the thermostat changed, got that all sealed up. We got the fast idle thermal valve cleaned and put back together. Still can't find that connector for the fan switch, so that's an issue. So everything over here is good. I just need to hook the battery back up because I was touching the starter. And then I'm gonna go ahead, pull the cap off. We're gonna put some coolant in it. And I'm gonna swap out that PCV valve really quick, good preventative measure. And then only thing that's left after that, other than the trans fluid, is try and hook up this catch can if I can find a way to put a little port for the tube right there, because that's plastic, so I can't obviously do anything with that. And then just the struts, which should be hopefully pretty quick. PCV is changed out, everything else is put back together, so we're just gonna add a little bit of oil because he was, like I said, almost a quart low, so we're gonna top him off real quick, then we're gonna add some coolant, and we're gonna start burping the system. Okay, ready for coolant. Got this thing filled, we're ready to fire it up, so let's fire it up, burp this thing out, and yeah, I mean, hopefully all goes smooth. Shouldn't have any issues though. Although maybe my stuff melting because it's so hot, but whatever. Yeah, let's fire it up. Let's give this thing some gas. Let's start this thing up. Okay. Just sitting here idling, I can smell oil being burnt. Yeah, it's definitely burning oil. So let's just let it do its thing for a bit, bleed it out, see what happens. So I just played a dumb move. I started installing the rear struts and had an issue getting them on in the first place because all the rear bolts in this car have pretty much never been touched, it looks like, because they're all super crusty, super hard to get off. I got the one side on this side, went to go do the other side, and this strut's totally blown. Look at this, you're not supposed to be able to compress these by hand. And standing here, if I don't stab my hand, I can push it down with one hand, and then it barely comes back up. So these things are trash, so I texted the guy, I told him they were trashed. So he wants me to put the other one on. The stock ones, or not the stock, but the ones that were on here already. So I gotta put that one back on here. Thankfully I didn't do the other side already, but these things are such a pain in the butt to get off because they're stock struts. So you have to like drop the control arm to pull the hub down far enough to be able to get the fork part off of it. The fronts are done though, so those are ready to be set at the right height. I set them both up like 4 rotations or 4 threads or whatever, so we'll see what that looks like. And now I started to bleed it, but had to stop because the temp gauge isn't working. So that means either the grounds are shifted a little bit or the sensor on the side of his head went bad, because I didn't touch anything else. So I'll have to fiddle with that, but let's get this other stupid strut back on, I guess. So I just went underneath and patched up the 2 exhaust leaks. He had a leak at the header because whoever welded the cat on welded the cat straight to the header, so there's no flex on it, so that cracked. So I fixed that. The cat itself was cracked all the way around from smacking something, so I just spent like 15 minutes trying to like tack that all close because it kept burning through since it's so blown out. But I did tell the guy that he does need to get a new cat, so now I just tried cleaning up the grounds a little bit. I'm gonna try and bleed this thing, see if I can't get this temp gauge working. And if it doesn't work, then that sensor is bad on the side of the head. It's a cheap sensor, but obviously you need that fixed. But yeah, we'll try and bleed this again. As for to fix the fan, so going through and trying to reverse the wiring right now. So the guy just had a mix. He put black to blue and blue to black instead of black to black and blue to blue. Sometimes people get that mixed up. Some fans are reverse polarity, so whereas it might be normal for this to be that way on another fan and have the air go that way, it's not on this one because how he has it wired up now, the air is going this way, so that's why it's pushing the air back through the front of the radiator instead of actually pulling it. So that's probably a good chunk of why he's overheating. So we're gonna swap these wires around really quick and give him some nice butt connectors and try and bleed it from there. This is a no-no. You never ever wrap wires around each other and then just tape them up. That's just asking for trouble. Okay, I see why he did that actually, because all he did was open the harness because he wanted the toggle switch to run, I guess, on a toggle, but then he wanted the wires to work like factory if we could figure it out. So I guess, you know what, fine, I'll go and just do it the way he just did it. I don't like doing it this way, but if that's how he had it, that's how I'm gonna put it back. Well, I mean, it's wired up. Let's hit the switch, see if this works. Gosh, every time you start this car, you just get a thick whiff of burnt oil. I don't like that. I feel like this dude probably got gypped on this motor, to be honest. So far I've been bleeding it for about 10 minutes or so, maybe 15. I think the thermostat finally opened, the lower hose is finally hot. But I just blipped the throttle and I'm gonna see if it'll do it again with the smoke. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's smoking there. And then right out the back. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's definitely smoking good. So I'd say this motor is about done. Temp gauge is still iffy on if it even wants to work. I mean, it's up there, but by now it should be at the middle or something, but it's not. So I don't know, I guess I'll give it a few more minutes, see if it climbs up, and then hit the switch for the fan. So yeah, this motor is just not happy. Temp gauge finally moved. It's sitting pretty much right where it's supposed to be. I've been bleeding it for about another 10 minutes since this last clip. And in the meantime, I just went to try and raise the rear end so I could try and match it to the front. But the rear struts, or the rear coils, are either maxed out or they're seized or something, because those rings moved about 1/4 inch and then they are tight, like they will not budge. And it just feels like the whole assembly is binding, so nothing I can do about that. So I'm gonna finish bleeding this, give it another couple minutes, see what happens with this, and then I guess throw the wheels on and see if the front is acceptable enough. And the guy's just gonna have to get some actual coilovers or some a new setup, because this just is not gonna work. So I decided to come back out here, shuffle some cars around. That Integra is ready to go home. The guy's picking it up in the morning. As for the Del Sol, time to pop the bumpers off, the side skirts, and the mirrors. So that way I can hand sand the mirrors the rest of the way, finish up the bumper, and then I can, yeah, pretty much get ready to start doing the rest of the body. Like I said, the body is all sanded as far as I'm gonna do it with 1000 and stuff. So all that's really left is the front bumper and the mirrors. The rear bumper's already sanded with 1000. I'm just taking it off to make it easier to shoot. But yeah, so let's get these things off. Car's up off the ground, obviously, and I'm excited. My main concern with painting out here, obviously I've painted all my cars out here before, but this time of year, for whatever reason, all this tree bristle and all these little teeny dots
fall non-stop all day, so I'm pretty much gonna have to catch a lucky spot, I guess. I'm gonna probably do the body tomorrow evening, hopefully. So I'm gonna make sure obviously the tarp is over it and all that, and then I will be throwing some plastic down around here so that way the dust doesn't get kicked up, or the little dots don't get kicked up from the air compressor or any breeze. And yeah, I'll be sure to wet down this side of the yard where the dust isn't gonna be blowing around. And yeah, at that point, it's just a luck of the draw. Try and shoot it in between gusts of wind and hope that none of that crap gets into this crap. I just want to say that the rear bumper on this thing has a bunch of hidden plastic clips like under the taillights. And I don't know why I didn't take the taillights off first to find them, but those were frustrating. But yeah, rear end's all off, so other than the mirrors, everything is off. That I need off, at least. Alright, so the owner of the Integra just came and picked up his car a little bit ago. He was pretty stoked on the work. He was kind of bummed that I told him everything that the car needs, that the motor's on its way out, that this needs to be replaced, that needs to be replaced. But the car is on its way home. He hasn't texted me yet that it's overheated, so that is a good sign. But yeah, so he's going to be bringing the car back at some point. He really wants to put a new motor and stuff in it. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish this thing up. I'm about to start masking it off. The bumpers, I'm going to shoot separately with the rear garnish because I need to mess with the front bumper a little bit, clean it up a little bit more, finish it. And then the wheels are going to just be getting the same color that the Integra has because I have leftover paint from that. And I figure while I got the clear coat out, may as well do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful, entertaining, anything. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, hopefully you considered subscribing. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get paint on this so we can start this other video. So do what you love for the rest, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.